So we should already know that Cunsa is not a filter with a single unique character, but instead it has a wide variety, a wide spectrum of characters, and as a matter of fact, it also has a dedicated character knob. So the fact that a classic filter sound may not be upfront doesn't mean that it's not there at all. And Cunsa might be able to get there with a little bit of knowledge of its parameter and a careful amplitude programming. I'm saying amplitude because it's through that parameter that, in my personal experience, in 90% of the cases, totally made up numbers, you may get dramatically different results. So today I would like to explore if Cunsa can be a liquid filter. Liquid is an adjective often used to describe a Roland filter, those with a particular sizzle with the resonance especially. And on the Cunsa, we don't have just cutoff frequency and resonance, but we also have two more parameters that complicate this matter a little bit further. So we have the amplitude of the sound feeding the filter, and also the character knob, which is how the filter behaves to overload. If you have missed the previous episodes on Cunsa's tutorials and how to get the most out of your Cunsa, you can find them in the description. So I won't even use a sequencer for now, and I will patch a sawtooth to my first filter. And I'm gonna patch this low pass output, 12 dB per octave, to my CGM, right here. We have a very low sound. We can crank the filter all the way up and set the Q and character to a pretty conservative setting like this. And we have a very fat and thick sweep, especially because Cunsa doesn't lose the bass content even at high resonance level. Oh! Maybe too much. And you can hear that this filter doesn't particularly sound liquid because it has a very nice, very aggressive resonant sound, especially around here. Now, of course, we can tame this behavior by activating the combo mode, which has the side effect of reducing the amplitude of the input VCA whenever we modulate and we reduce the cutoff frequency. But if we want to have a liquid sound, my advice here is again using the amplitude and reducing the amplitude of the sound going into the filter, reducing the character knob, setting it to maximum soft clipping, so almost no filter saturation at all, and crank the Q all the way up. You can see that we are almost there, and here's the difference between this filter sweep. I may have to compensate it further. Here's the difference between this and this. The filter has completely changed its character, even with the same character settings, because the response to a filter overload, I'm using just a plain sawtooth here, has changed dramatically. Now I'm gonna try and play a brief sequence here. And I want to set it to the point of almost no saturation. Now I may need to use my CGM to add some extra gain. If I want to have an even more liquid sound, I can use the 24 dB per octave, so going a bit off the Roland tradition, and have more emphasis on the cutoff frequency, thanks to the steeper slope. I may still have a bit of extra resonance whenever I approach the lower range, so I can activate the combo mode, as I was saying earlier, to have a much more tamed behavior. here. And another tip that I'd like to share is to be very careful on which modulation you want to choose, because for this kind of analog sounds, I think that an ADSR envelope works the best. And we don't have it here, we don't have an ADSR dedicated envelope, but we can fake it, and you can fake it too if you have a Falistri, by duplicating our gate signal and using it to trigger two Falistris with the same settings, so long time scale, but the yellow one is set to transient and the green one is set to hold. So the yellow generator will have an effect like this, and the green one will be something like this. And if I combine them, I can have my yellow one, which is providing the AD segments, and the green one, which provides the sustain and release. And I will set the yellow one much higher than the green one, and this basically is my sustain level. A little bit too high. I can set them faster, so with a snappier decay. And you can hear how nasty and growly and liquid it is sounding. If I want to have also control over my amplitude post filter, I just have to duplicate my envelope output and patch the envelope, patch a copy of this envelope into my linear slew limiter with a fast attack and a slightly longer decay. So I will integrate just the falling segments. I will have an exact copy of the envelope controlling the filter. However, if I want a more squared envelope over my VCA, I can just use the end of rise gate signal of the green envelope to have a sort of fake envelope from here, which is more or less the same as using the input gate. So Cunsa is a filter that has plenty of range, both in terms of cutoff frequency, amplitude, saturation, modulation amount, and my advice here is to take it very gently. You don't have to go all the way up with the input VCA, all the way up with the modulation, but just listen to the filter and try to find the best spot, even in a more conservative setting. And if we want to have a very, very high and extreme and unorthodox level of fluidity and liquidness, we can set all the filters to 24 dB per octave, all of them to low pass combo mode, set the same signal to all of them, use the envelope, patch it to the volt per octave input, so we have to tweak the ADSR settings, the fake ADSR settings from here, and then patch the filters 1 and 2 here, filter 3 and 4 here in left in stereo, and it will sound like this. So I hope you found this video useful and inspiring, and I will see you next time with more Cunsa tips.